If you have ever visited Japan, you have definitely seen them, from the heart of megacities to quiet residential neighborhoods. Even on a lonely country road, they stand completely alone, yet always reliable. Yes, we are talking about vending machines. They provide ice-cold drinks in the summer, and in the freezing winter, you can even buy hot tea, coffee, and soup. Today, there are nearly 4 million vending machines across Japan. Many tourists are shocked by this high density, but can you believe the number is actually decreasing? At its peak around the year 2000, Japan had about 5.6 million machines. But in the first place, how did they multiply up to 5.6 million? You might wonder if it was to solve a labor shortage in a rapidly aging society, or perhaps some sci-fi obsession with automation in the land that imagined Gundam. But that assumption is entirely wrong. In fact, the vending machine boom began in the 1970s, an era completely opposite to the Japan we know today. So, why did they explode across the nation? In this episode, we will unlock the secrets behind Japan's vending machine empire. Imagine a metal box filled with thousands of dollars in cash and hundreds of drink bottles left completely alone on the street at night. How do they remain completely untouched? This is the single biggest question for tourists visiting Japan. The primary reason, of course, is safety. Japan's crime rate is extremely low. Violent crimes and vandalism, like breaking open a machine with a crowbar or stealing the entire thing away with a truck, rarely happen. Even after the terrible 2011 earthquake, almost no looting occurred in the disaster zones. That alone speaks volumes about the national character. Also, the Japanese yen has long been recognized as one of the most trusted and counterfeit-resistant currencies in the world. Its banknotes and coins are marvels of security engineering. Combined with precise validation technology, even in the early 1960s, Japanese vending machines could reliably reject foreign tokens or crude fakes, ensuring a secure and trustworthy business model from the very beginning. But that doesn't mean they were completely immune to crime. In the late 1990s, a clever wave of counterfeit coins hit Japanese streets. Criminal groups took South Korean 500 won coins, which were almost the exact same size but worth only about 50 yen, a mere tenth of the value of a Japanese 500 yen coin, and drilled small holes into them to match the weight. By dropping this fake coin in and simply turning the return lever, they could instantly walk away with a real Japanese 500 yen coin. Of course, the Japanese government and engineers did not stay silent. They re-engineered the 500 yen coin into a high-tech, two-colored structure. Meanwhile, vending machine internals were upgraded with ultra-high precision sensors that used lasers and electromagnetic waves to scan the exact metallic composition of the coin. It was this absolute obsession to never allow a single yen of fraud that allowed the vending network to expand nationwide without fear of being easy targets for thieves. On top of that, Japan's monetary policy in the 1960s paved the way for its vending machine culture. When vending machines first appeared, they were strictly coin-only because the technology to scan crumpled or wet paper money did not exist. Whether it was a coincidence or not, in 1967, the government started mass-producing a new 100 yen coin. This meant people could easily buy a drink with just the loose change in their pockets, even during a high inflation period, unlike in many other nations where a handful of coins was no longer enough to buy a single beverage. Thus, Japan had already laid the perfect ironclad groundwork for a nationwide vending network to operate safely and expand rapidly. But these were just the foundations, not the catalyst. So, what really drove the explosion if it wasn't a labor shortage? To give you some vital context, Japan's demographic back then was a perfect pyramid. The concepts of depopulation or an aging crisis didn't even exist. The baby boomers were in full force, and the birth rate was drastically higher than it is now. Vending machines weren't built because there were no workers. In fact, the sheer volume of these machines required a massive, continuous supply of human labor just for daily refilling and maintenance. The true catalyst was a unique historical blank space, the complete absence of 24-hour convenience stores. In the 1970s, traditional shopping streets closed early in the evening, and being shut on Sundays was the absolute norm. The corporate world was moving at a furious, non-stop pace, but the retail world remained peaceful and human-scaled. Demand existed late at night and on weekends, but considering the low price of a single drink or a pack of cigarettes, it made no economic sense to hire overnight staff 24/7. Vending machines stepped into this economic void. They became the ultimate low-cost, 24-hour clerks, snapping up the missed revenue. As these new coins flooded the market, global beverage giants like Coca-Cola rushed in, weaving an endless grid of machines across the country. Parallel to this, because adult smoking rates were incredibly high at the time, cigarette vending machines exploded in number, cementing the foundation of today's vending empire. You might be shocked to see cigarette vending machines operating openly right on the streets, but in those days, age verification and compliance barely existed, and public rules were shockingly relaxed. Anyone in Japan who grew up in those days carries a sense of nostalgia from their childhood, remembering when their father would send them running to the corner machine to buy a pack of cigarettes, letting them keep the loose change as a pocket money reward. So, who actually runs these millions of machines? About 90% of the beverage machines on the street operate under a brilliant ecosystem called full operation. The landowner does practically nothing except provide a tiny patch of space and an electrical outlet. The beverage maker or specialized management company bears all the upfront and operational costs. They provide the machine, handle the refills, collect the cash, and even clean the recycling bin next to it. It is possible to buy a used machine and stock it with items from a wholesale supermarket on your own to chase a higher margin, but the vast majority of the market relies on these hassle-free corporate contracts. Under a full operation agreement, the landowner pays roughly $15 to $25 a month for electricity. In exchange, they pocket about 15% to 20% of the total sales as a commission. For example, if a machine sells a modest 20 to 30 bottles a day, about 700 bottles a month, total sales hit around $800. After subtracting the power bill, the owner makes a net profit of about $130 a month. You might ask, is it really worth renting out land for just $130? But consider this. A vending machine only takes up about 16 square feet of space, or 1.5 square meters, a tiny dead space that is otherwise completely useless. The owner contributes zero labor. It is 100% passive income. On top of that, the machine stays brightly lit all night, acting as a free security light for the property. Because it was the ultimate way to turn useless space into effortless income, the full operation system caused vending machines to multiply like wildfire across Japan. They have also become vital pieces of social infrastructure. The exact moment a major earthquake or natural disaster hits, these machines can be unlocked remotely via cellular networks to distribute free, safe beverages to people in need. The street-level vending network is, in reality, a massive safety net integrated with local governments. Yet, despite this brilliant business model and its deeply rooted social role, the vending machine industry is now facing its most brutal crisis yet. As we noted at the beginning, total numbers are dropping. If you look closely at the data, soft drink machines only dipped from 2.6 million to 2 million. They are bleeding, but they aren't dead. The ones that went truly extinct were machines selling cigarettes and alcohol. More than 95% of them have vanished from the streets. The catalyst was strict new legislation to prevent underage sales. To buy cigarettes from a machine, smokers suddenly needed TASPO, short for Tobacco Passport, an adult identification card issued by the government after a tedious application process. Smokers simply migrated to convenience stores, where they could buy their packs instantly without showing ID unless they looked incredibly young. And this extinction of cigarette machines triggered a domino effect for drink machines. Once smokers moved to convenience stores for their tobacco, the golden purchasing routine, where a salaryman would buy a pack of cigarettes and naturally grab a can of coffee from the drink machine right next to it, completely collapsed. Then came the knockout blow in 2012, the arrival of 7 Cafe by 7-Eleven, and the rise of 100 yen freshly brewed convenience store coffee. For just about 80 cents, consumers could get cafe-quality coffee on the go. This directly destroyed the canned coffee market, which had been the primary cash cow for vending machines for decades. Traditional cafes survived because they offer a physical place to sit, but vending machines suffered a devastating hit. To make matters worse, drugstores and discount retailers began using beverages as loss leaders, aggressively dumping plastic bottles of tea and water for almost half the price of vending machines to lure foot traffic inside. A vending machine, however, can only fight with the products inside its frame. Out of a single rigid price point, it must cover the beverage cost, the intensive labor of the delivery route, rising fuel costs, and the commission to the landowner. Structurally, it is at a massive disadvantage. As a result, sales per machine have cratered. The response from beverage manufacturers has been a painful process of selection and focus. They are cutting commissions in low-traffic rural areas and quiet back alleys, canceling contracts, and tearing machines down, leaving only high-yield gold mines like corporate offices and hospitals. Faced with these fierce headwinds, will vending machines eventually vanish from the streets of Japan? The answer is no. Instead, they are undergoing a radical mutation. To combat severe labor shortages, companies are heavily automating logistics through digital transformation. Modern vending machines are smart IoT devices hooked into the internet. Inventory and sales data are transmitted to a central system in real time, allowing for highly efficient logistics and delivery routes. They are also seeking more business opportunities in related fields, launching automated mini pantries inside office spaces, and even equipping street machines with 5G antennas to act as cellular-based stations. They are transforming from simple coin-operated boxes into next-generation utility hubs. They conquered the nation by quenching a population's thirst, evolved hand-in-hand with tobacco, and fought a high-tech war against counterfeiters. The next time you stop by a street corner in Japan to buy a single can of coffee, look closely at that metal box. You might just be looking at a glimpse of a completely different future. What do you think the future holds for vending machines? Let me know your thoughts or any nostalgic memories in the comments below. If you found this video interesting, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.